No, this video is not clickbait. You might be like, how is this handsome man going to teach me how to make $1 million wholesaling real estate? It's really that simple. So sit down, prepared for your mind to be blown, and I'm here to change your life. If you're ready to make $1 million wholesaling real estate, I'm here to teach you. No, there's no course at the end of this. There's no special mentorship program that you need to use to get rich here. I'm just going to show you how I make millions of dollars wholesaling and how anyone really could start doing it. Is it going to be easy? No, it's going to suck. But there's honestly 3 steps you need to do to start getting a ton of money in this business. So if you're the type of guy to want to get a whole entire $1 million wholesaling system in under 60 seconds, get out of this video. But for anyone sitting down, actually trying to get the facts, I'm about to blow your mind. So how many of you guys in here are absolute degenerate gamblers? So if you're a degenerate gambler, you know exactly what I'm drawing here. But let's draw this really, really bad roulette wheel. And as a degenerate gambler, you know the ratio that you need to win. Usually 2 to 1, you can do numbers, odds, evens, 1 through 5, 1 through 6. But for most of us people that just like gambling, which not me, but you're probably watching this because you're a degenerate, you know you're gonna bet on red or black. So pretty much that means if you bet $100 that the thing's gonna land on black, if it lands on black, you get $200. And if it lands on red and you chose black, you get absolutely nothing. Now, this seems like a $0 risk because it's a 50-50 shot. But what most people don't tell you is there's this little like green line here that makes it like a 1 to 2% in the favor of the odds of the house, which means if you keep sitting here and betting on red and black, statistically, you are going to absolutely get walloped and lose all your money. And that's what casinos try to get you to do. And that's why you're still broke. But what if we change the odds from 10 to 1, meaning a $100 bet, if you chose black, it landed on black, will yield you $1,000. You'd eat that stuff up. You'd be on that like Diddy on baby oil. Because all you have to do is just get 1 right bet out of 10 and you're going to win. So of course, those odds are in your favor, not the house's favor. Well, what if I told you in wholesaling real estate, the odds in my wholesaling real estate business, my multi-million dollar operation is not 2 to 1 with bets and gambling. It's like 30 to 1. And even if you really suck and you understand what works and what doesn't, just like basics, you could probably be at 5 to 1 or 10 to 1 if you really don't even know what you're doing. So the odds are always going to be in your favor if you know how to make a system where you will gamble maybe $1,000 in the month for marketing, which I don't call it gambling, but you're always going to end up, if you keep playing the game in the year, right? Let's say you have 12 spins, right? 12 months in the year, you're still going to at least make $100,000 a year. And for most people who can get to 30 to 1, you're going to make millions of dollars. And that's how you make $1 million a year. Like you're just playing roulette, except the odds are like extremely stacked in your favor. So let me show you step by step how to do this. So before we start learning how to game the system here to get rich, we have to understand how we get paid in wholesaling real estate. We get paid when we connect 2 things. That is it. We connect really good wholesaling deals, real estate deals, with cash buyers. That's literally it. If we can find wholesaling deals and we can find cash buyers and we can meet them together, right? If we can provide deals to good cash buyers will pay us assignment fees. That is the name of the game. So what is the secret to gaming the system? Well, let's go to step 1 here. We just have to learn how to master really 2 aspects in this business, the market and the marketing. So what I found is if you're in a really good market and your marketing is kind of okay, you're going to absolutely make a ton of money. And if your marketing is insane, but you have a decent market, you're still going to make a ton of money. The real secret and the real arbitrage of getting 20 to 30x return on your investment, especially on your marketing, is being really good at both of these things. So let's talk about it. How do you get really good at finding a good wholesale market? Well, there's really 2 factors I've always said. You want a median home price of $500,000 or less. Just do a simple ChatGPT search. And if you're dumb enough not to search and look up how much is the average house in my city or market, this wholesaling stuff's going to be a lot harder. Okay. Like roulette's way harder than this. Okay. Red or black. Now on the market side here, this is pretty simple. You just want in your county, you just want over 100,000 people living in there. That's all you want in the county. Now, of course you want anything above that's great. So anything $100,000 or above in the county, that's what we want to see. Anything below that, there's not going to be enough cash buyers. We don't want that. Now, that one's easy. Like markets, like I can really teach any Joe Schmo to be good at the market. The marketing is going to take a little bit of time. And there's so much different marketing you can do here, right? You can text motivated sellers. You can cold call them to find deals. You can send them direct mail. You could do pay-per-click right on Google. You can run Facebook ads. You can do digital bandit signs. I teach that at freewholesaling.com, DBS. I mean, you can drive for dollars. I mean, we can go all day about this, right? There's so many ways. You can do PPL. You can buy ads. You do PPL. You can buy leads. I'm not a fan of that, but you can do it. Like, I mean, there's all these different ways to actually go out here and reach out and find motivated sellers. And this brings us to step number 2. Step 2, you're going to learn what works solo. So this means you're going to go by yourself. You're going to go wholesaling alone. No team, nothing like that. And your sole goal is to figure out what works and what doesn't. More specific, let's talk about the market here. You want to figure out when you're wholesaling by yourself, what are the niches and what are the things in the market that are actually working for me? Now, more specifically, like what zip codes are working really good? What areas around town are working good for me? What cities that I'm wholesaling in are actually yielding me good results? And even if you're going virtual, like what states or areas in states are working? And you're going to find roughly that's like, oh my gosh, there's like these 3 zips where I'm getting so many deals and the other zips I'm not getting deals. You're going to find that like when I spend $500 a month in marketing, these 3 zips are working the best. Like I'm getting 30-to-1 ratios in my cold calling. Like I'll spend $100 and get $3,000 of deals by just doing the correct zips and avoiding the zip codes that don't work, right? You're going to find the same thing with areas. There's areas that are hot and areas that aren't good. Same exact thing works in your marketing. You're going to figure out pretty dang quick. Does texting work? Does cold calling suck? Does drawing for dollars not work? Does PPL work? Does Facebook ads suck? You're going to get your own little ratios in your head. Even like going out here, if we look at like texting, right? You're going to figure out pretty dang quick what your ROI is on texting, right? So like if you go to like X leads and you spend, let's say $1,000 to send like 11,000 texts, and you end up going out here and getting a $15,000 deal from that expense, SMS text blasting has now yielded you a 15-to-1 return, which is pretty dang good on the roulette board. Now, how do you go from a 15-to-1 to 30-to-1, right? That's just like a doubling, right? Well, you just only do $500 of texting, which would only give like 5.5 thousand texts. But to get the yield the same results, it's a better return on your investment. That means if we double that 1,000, that means next time I spend $1,000 on the correct lists, I'm actually going to get $30,000 of real estate wholesaling deals, right? Now, half of it's, you can lowball them, you're good at talking to sellers, you can close them all good, right? That's all cool and dandy. But half of the texting's not even the channel or being good at it. It's like figuring out what lists are working right. So it's like, oh my gosh, when I text a probate, I get like 100-to-1. When I do like a vacant property list, it's like a 6-to-1. If I do like a code violation or like a pre-foreclosure, I'm getting like a 30-to-1. Well, now we see cracks in the market, right? So if I know I'm getting 101 to returns on probates and a 31 on code violations or pre-foreclosures, we need to like 30x, like triple, quadruple, cotillion down on the stuff that's working and eliminating what's not working. Now I get asked a lot, like, well, what's the next step here? Because I'm doing it all myself. Like I'm trying to run $1 million business. Like, how do I do this? Well, the point is once you hit like 300 grand, like solo, that's pretty much your cap. Like it's really hard to get above that in wholesaling just all by yourself solo, unless you really get into house flipping. That's going to take away your time, right? But the point is you actually gain skills when you get to this point in doing it solo. Like you have closing skills, you have data skills, like the data that works or doesn't, the words to say to close sellers, exactly how to dispo, right? You have all these skill sets now that you are going to go out here and transfer to other people. You are doing something called leverage now. And this is where you turn people into money. Now, don't clip me out here. I'm probably going to get in trouble saying that, but hear me out. Let me cook. So if I can hire a VA for $5 an hour and I have them work 100 hours and they can produce me one $10,000 deal. That means I spend about $500. Maybe I spend an extra $1,000 on texting or calling or whatever, right? So about $1,500. And then I can guarantee almost to make $10,000. That's pretty good roulette odds. It's way better than blackjack, my guy. And when you really get good at training teams, you're going to be spending like $500 on like 40 hours, right? You can get a deal every single week now. And you're going to turn $500 into 10,000 at a magical like 20-to-1 ROI ratio. Now, a lot of people get really mad at me about wholesaling. You know, I get told like, oh, PPC, PPL, it's so much easier. You don't have to hire people. Like, yeah, bro, like you're great. Like, yeah, yes, of course. Let me tell you exactly why I don't drink the PPL Kool-Aid at best. And people get really upset at me over this, but like, let me just tell you the dang truth. When they buy recycled leads, they're spending probably like 10 grand a month at most. Like they're cherry picking the very best PPL leads, which is great. Like if you cherry pick the PPL leads, you're good. You're 10K, but like we're talking about making millions of dollars. The people I know that actually like the big boys in this industry, right? They're getting a 2-to-1 ratio on their PPL because they have to drop like 200 grand a month. Now, the funny thing is in wholesaling real estate, you can go out here and find probably thousands of people in freewholesaling.com in my communities and people who don't even follow me. They hate me. They make millions of dollars wholesaling and they are going out here spending 200 grand a month with calling, texting, and PPC. Now, I'm not a PPC fan, but I know people on PPC who are going out here making millions of dollars and spending hundreds of thousands a month. What you're going to find with these people is they are guaranteeing to get about a 5-to-1 ratio. That's probably your best you're going to get at when you're spending that much dough per month. PPL people, there's not one person in PPL that is spending 200 grand a month for PPL leads, except for the person that probably owns the dang company. There's a reason why when you look at people who run $5, $6, $7 million wholesaling real estate operations, none of them are only doing PPL or none of them are doing primarily PPL. The PPL success stories at most are spending $10K a month. And there's nothing wrong about making $500,000-$600,000 a year. Trust me. I remember being 22 years old. But the thing about it is when you look at the thousands of people who make millions of dollars in wholesaling, none of them are dropping big moolah on PPL because it doesn't have the best return on investment. The big boys in wholesaling are always going towards PPC, texting, and calling. Now, I will tell you, there are some ones in SEO. Those are like mini Jimmy Neutron type guys, like way smarter than you and me combined. But when you actually want to look at actually scaling a business and scaling into making millions of dollars, the big three have always been the big three. And I'd probably add direct mail in here too. But the big classical three has always been calling, texting, direct mail. Very rare I've seen people make good ratios on PPC, but I have been changed in the coming years. I do know a couple people now in the PPC game really crushing it. They're getting about 5-to-1, but it's very, very common to find thousands of people who are making a ton of money that are just doing direct mail. I mean, We Buy Ugly Houses people are probably doing the most out of anyone. Direct mail, texting, calling, and PPC. And I hate PPC, but there's a reason why if you want to make over $1 million a year in wholesaling, you're going to be about a 5-to-1 ratio. Now, if you want to spend less money, if you want to spend like 30 grand a month, yeah, you're going to achieve 20-to-1 ratios from calling and texting with VAs, but there is a point of diminishing returns, and it's usually about 200 grand a month that I found. So when you're dropping over 200 grand a month in marketing, you're not going to get 20, 30x, right? Because like at that point, if you got like a 20x on $2.4 million of ad spend, like you're bringing about 48 mil a year. I don't really know any wholesaler who's bringing $48 million a year in revenue. And if they are, they're mostly lying, but I could be proven wrong. Like prove me wrong. I'm all for it. But all the guys who are reaching, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 million, they're getting 5-to-1 ratios on their ad spends. And those are all direct mail guys, texting guys and gals, calling, and PPC. We can add SEO in there, but like they're not doing PPL. They're not doing Facebook ads, right? I know someone doing billboards and stuff like that, but it's like a brand thing, right? And so to make $1 million in wholesaling, the game's pretty simple. And when you want to get to $4 and $5 million, you master the market, you master the marketing, you'll learn what works solo. You work hard to figure out the niches in your area, like your market, the areas, the zip codes, the cities. You get really good with your lists. You figure out what lists work, what lists don't. You get good at your channels, and then you hire a bunch of people and start playing the casino game. VAs, onlinejobs.ph, probably my favorite place. Fiverr's okay, Upwork's okay too. But you're honestly going to go out here and find that you can actually rig the system for success. Now, it sucks doing this all by yourself. It sucks doing it solo, but it's truly the only way I've seen countless people go from broke to millions of dollars. Now, you can speed run this in probably a year or two. Most people, it takes about 3 to 4 years to hit like crazy numbers. but you have to start now. So if you want to start now, do me a favor. Make sure you go join my free real estate wholesaling program, freewholesaling.com. Remember, I have nothing to sell you there. Just want to teach you real estate wholesaling absolutely for free. So you stop using these terrible wholesaling systems I see out here on the internet. And so you can start having success. You got that from this video. Do me a favor. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe. I'll see you soon. This is Zach Ginn signing out. Have a blessed one.